Howdy, howdy. And why, hello. Welcome to But It Was Aliens, the extraterrestrial comedy podcast where we probe famous and often lesser known alien occurrences throughout history to determine whether aliens really were involved. We hope that our files will help prepare humanity for alien invasion, so if you're listening to us and you know they've been and are coming again, let us know how you're preparing. By us, I mean me, today's host, Kevin the Grey, and my fearless pussy co-host, Granville Moonwalker. Today, Mooney, I'm taking you to school.
Again? Are we going back to Zimbabwe?
No, we are going to Broadhaven, a Welsh village on the seafront in Pembrokeshire, Wales. Broadhaven is a small place with a population of less than 1,000 people, a blue flag beach, which means that it's basically the tits, one church, and a folding on the north end of the seafront called Lion Rock. That was more like a camp cat. This place doesn't even have a one-stop for teenagers to go and steal white lightning from. True story, how this village came to be remains a mystery, but it's been a seaside resort since the 1800s. That has shit all to do with what I'm about to tell you, but the area does have one more interesting feature of sorts.
How does the village come to be without anyone knowing?
Well,
Was it just there?
aliens?
I'm not saying that already.
Right, aliens, let's go home. Thank you for listening, and... No, I guess
Shall
the
we go
record's
visit?
just... Yes, it's not a haunted house, so you'd be happy for that, wouldn't you?
Yep.
But yeah, I guess the records just aren't there for this place.
So, the north end of the seafront is called Lion Rock.
Yeah.
So, is the east Cheetah Rock, the south Goat Rock, and the west The Rock. If you smell...
No. So the area consisting of Broadhaven has been nicknamed as the Broadhaven Triangle. I'm about to tell you as to why.
Bermuda Triangle? Is it like a mini one?
Pretty much. But I'm about to tell you as to why. And what was that sound effect?
I just made a triangle with my hand.
So it was the 4th of February 1977. It was a normal day at Broadhaven Primary School. The pupils were going about their day. One group, around 11 years old, were outside playing football when a yellowish, cigar-shaped UFO was seen to be on the field next to the primary school. The craft was manned by a silver-suited being and appeared to take off vertically. There had been 14 pupils playing football, and obviously a bit of a commotion was caused with all the children running around claiming to have seen a UFO. The head teacher thought this is bollocks.
This sounds like Zimbabwe.
It's in Wales.
Also, how did no one see the object there before?
Maybe they just didn't notice as it wasn't moving.
But you'd be like, what the hell is that? Like,
Well, they were when they noticed it.
once it started to take off.
Yeah, so the head teacher thought, this is bollocks.
This is bullshit.
And didn't even go to look for himself. The schoolboys were separated and asked individually to draw what they had seen, with none of the children having an opportunity to plan with the others what they would draw. This, the head teacher knew, would uncover the hoax, and then the school could return to normality. Here is what the children drew.
This is the Welsh Zimbabwe.
Alright, do you want to have a look at these pictures? Fine artwork.
Kev,
Yes.
I want to zoom in on that. Right. So there's 4 pictures in a cluster here.
Mm-hmm.
One which has UFO in the top, written in the top corner, and it says cited by pupils.
Mm-hmm.
And then Broadhaven County Primary School. It's got a date on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shiny silver UFO, has 4 windows and a door. It's saucer shaped, and it has a red shiny button on the top, which I'm assuming is a light. But there's also 3 UFOs around it.
Yeah, remember this is a kid drawing this.
That is
So
true.
they've got a little bit carried away with themselves.
Yeah, they have.
And they thought, let's jazz this up. So they've written around it and drawn some other UFOs around it. But the key image is the one in the middle.
Yeah.
Which also, I would say, in addition to being silver, has a yellowish hue.
Is that because they have got quite creative and used like foil or something?
Well, they said it was yellowish, remember?
It's true. The picture to the right of that is a silver craft with a silver man standing in front of it.
With massive feet. Look at the size of those feet. The left one is big as his leg.
So you are laughing at the size of that guy's feet.
Mm-hmm.
That is the reason I cannot wear Converse. Because
you've got a
my
massive
feet would
left
look like
foot.
that. Look like clown shoes when I wear Converse. Underneath we have 2 other pictures. The one in the bottom left hand corner looks a lot like one of the pictures from the Zimbabwe case, where the UFO is sitting amongst the trees, and it looks the same as well, except it's on the floor, whereas I think in the Zimbabwe one it had like landing feet out. The one to the right of that shows a disc-shaped saucer, and also
This is the bit I really like.
I'm trying to think, what do they call it when they get the criminals to stand
police
up?
lineup, yeah.
It looks like a police lineup with one person, and he's in a blue suit with a blue hat. Now, you've come across a few cases where people are in blue. I want to zoom in to see if I can make out what's written, but unfortunately I can't. Is that the only picture, or...?
No, we've got a couple more from some less
Okay.
able students. You can see why I didn't lead with this one.
I don't know what that top...
It's a saucer, isn't it? Just the kid who's done that one is
If I
not...
was to draw the top of a cloud and then just draw a bowl underneath it and connect the two, that's what this looks like.
But he's got the same black door, and it's the same rough shape. There's obviously a little button on top if you look, even
then
though
if-
it's only black and white.
If you tell children to draw a UFO, I think they're all going to go to the same shape. Is it the same kid that's drawn the one?
No, it's a different one.
Okay. So beneath that, there is another picture, UFO, saucer shaped, with a man standing in front who looks like he has Wolverine ears from X-Men.
That's no man, that's a giant bat.
Cannot tell what is beside him though. Is
Yeah,
that part of the ship,
I've
or is
got
he brought
no
that out with
idea.
him?
I wondered if it was a suitcase or something, but I'm not sure. Okay, and then finally we've got a newspaper
Newspaper
article
clipping.
of all the kids
Yeah.
holding up their drawings, but obviously the quality of the newspaper is not so great, so we can't make out the pictures so well.
And it's called Sorcery in West Wales.
So this was officially reported upon. So as you can see, what all different boys drew resembled each other remarkably. They all drew the same thing. It's slightly hard to see in the newspaper article, but they did.
So either these kids are clever and came up with, what if we get caught, let's all draw the same thing, or they actually saw something. Being kids, knowing how not clever but crafty they are, little witches, I'm going with, they planned this before.
But they were all out there just playing football by all accounts. They weren't gathered around.
Were they?
They were, yeah.
They
I
were.
suppose they could have planned it like 5 weeks earlier or something, but
But then I think it's quite possible that one of them made it up, or a small group of them made it up. We saw this, blah, blah, blah. The rest of them didn't want to be left out. So they then start saying, oh, I saw it too. And then when the teacher tells you to draw a UFO, draw what you think a UFO would be. Like, if someone told me to draw a UFO, I know that I could draw something absolutely ridiculous and out of this world that wouldn't resemble a normal UFO, but my standard go-to would be the saucer-shaped UFO.
Fair enough. Well, the craft was later described by David Davies, one of the pupils, as a yellowish grey
I know David Davies.
or pearlescent torpedo or cigar shape, 40 foot long with an upper dome topped by a pulsating reddish light. The children would later hand in a petition at a local police station demanding an investigation. It's David Davies' own personal belief that what the children saw was of terrestrial, though unexplained and unacknowledged origin.
So he's not
He doesn't
jumping straight
no.
on the fact that it's alien.
No, he thinks it's something that man made, but where did men get that technology from?
Okay.
So it's a
Clever.
definitely alien so far. Yep.
Clever Mr. Davies here.
But yeah, I guess the point is that they're quite reasonable about their beliefs. So 13 days later, on the 17th of February 1977, the same damn craft was seen again. This time, it was a teacher and 3 dinner ladies who saw it. No children this time, but not only did they see a craft, they saw a creature making its way on board the craft in a silvery suit.
A creature.
Yep.
So it wasn't a man.
They couldn't clarify that.
How far away were they when they saw it?
I've got no bloody idea. I think they were on the school grounds and it was in the field, perhaps.
Okay, Kevin. Would you like a cup of tea?
I would love a cup of tea.
Do you know what? I actually would like a cup of tea.
I could make you a cup of tea.
Yeah, but you've got no biscuits. So it's been seen by multiple people now.
Yes.
Adults and children. Okay.
2 days after the second sighting, on the 19th of February 1977, the owner of the Haven Fort Hotel, Ms. Rosa Granville, was awoken at 2:30 a.m. by a strange noise and strange lights. Ms. Granville looked out of her window as the shit trailed down her no longer fresh panties. Typical Granville. And saw an object which looked like an upside down saucer, again in a field next to the hotel. There was an intense heat which burned Granville's face, but that was not all she saw. Can you imagine how excited I was when I learned the name?
I bet your panties were no longer fresh.
Yeah, typical Granville.
Oh, she needs a fresh pair of panties on. Strange noises and lights.
Yeah.
I would like to know what a strange noise is,
There you go.
because it would have to be something that you can't comprehend for it to be strange.
Yeah.
Like, does it sound similar to something, or something that you have never heard in your life?
Well, you know, like how a craft would sound on a computer game involving aliens. Mm-hmm. This is the 70s, so they wouldn't have that context. So it could be something like that.
Okay, makes sense. So was it the intense heat? Was it like the thrusters on the craft that burned her face?
Potentially, either that or a really intense light.
Or as it came through the atmosphere, it still had the heat of...
No, I think the implication is she could see strange noise, hear strange noise and see lights. So those lights could have been either the
intense
engine
heat from the light.
or it could have been a really hot light that was burning her face from a field away.
Okay.
So, Granville wrote a letter to her MP
You're loving that.
explaining this incident, whereby she not only saw an upside down saucer, but not one, but 2 very tall, faceless humanoid creatures. The creatures had pointed heads. I didn't find an artist's impression of what she saw, so I have drawn you one myself, completely by me. If you'd like to check out the below image.
Before I do, I have a question.
Yep.
How far away was she?
She was in the hotel, wasn't she? And it was across a field.
I can't take her word as...
You're querying the honesty of Ms. Granville.
Yes.
Are you saying that Granville is full of shit?
I'm not questioning her honesty. Questioning her eyesight.
Her integrity is... She didn't just see it, she felt it.
No. The eyesight. Two very tall, faceless humanoid creatures.
Well, they'd have to be
You
tall.
would not be able to see their face from where you are.
Or would you?
No.
She could have had binoculars, a telescope, all sorts.
She's,
She might have hawk vision. You can see her dibs from miles away.
now that you mention it, I'm on board. I believe it.
Right, so if you'd like to check out the artwork of what she saw, drawn by me. What do you think?
Oh, your art skills are amazing. Is that Dan Aykroyd in Conan? It is, isn't
it? It may look like Dan Aykroyd in Coneheads. But I drew it fully myself.
You did not draw that. I've seen your pictures.
I can make photorealistic art. What are you talking about?
Is it called a photo?
Here is one of the kids' drawings, like what we glossed over earlier, where you'll see that by pointy head, they mean pointy ears. What do you think?
Oh, that is the one from earlier.
It's a similar one.
Hold on.
You're going back to check, aren't you?
I am. It is the same one.
Was it?
Yeah.
My bad. No, it's not.
It is. It's just closer.
The colours are different.
It's not.
They are, because someone's applied a filter to it.
It's the same picture.
So that's all the thoughts you got on it.
Well, there's the same picture.
You're querying whether...
It's the same picture, rather than the silver Batman that's standing in front of me.
You're querying whether someone that will remain nameless has just cut and pasted it with a different filter on it.
It's you. I just thought you plucked it from somewhere else. I knew you wouldn't draw. What is that behind him? Like, oh, not the ship.
Yeah, the thing...
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but there was a few with things behind. I don't know whether it's like a ramp into the door or whether it's some sort of alien
Weaponry. Just
scooter, a Segway.
what if it is a scooter?
Yeah, I'm generally not sure. But like I say, a few of them drew similar things.
His left foot is massive. It's like a hockey stick.
Yeah,
A ice hockey stick.
indeed. So this incident left Granville agitated and disturbed,
No, it didn't.
as well as hoping to the powers above that she never had to experience another encounter. So Granville, what do you think about Granville, Granville?
She's a pussy. No.
You're not vouching for Granville, Granville?
What year was this? Was in the 70s, wasn't
70s,
it?
yeah.
Why didn't she take any pictures?
Cameras were expensive. It's not like now where you can just pick one up. They cost. And they weren't, not everyone had a camera.
So she didn't rely on her artistic skills to draw what she saw.
She didn't.
Can't trust her.
Right, so a declassified Ministry of Defence document confirmed that top-ranking officials investigated the sightings covertly.
Ooh.
The MP, upon receiving the letter from respected Pussy Granville, contacted the MOD, and Flight Lieutenant Cowan from the RAF Brody visited the hotel. The MP had explained how he was being absolutely inundated with contact from his villagers regarding UFOs, because not only had there been the incidents we explained above, there had been many, many more. For example, a family had reported seeing several UFOs in the space of a week, as well as more sightings of a silver-suited figure across the village. There were also reports of teleporting cows from a local family. When I say cows, what I mean is that the Coombs family's whole herd of cows vanished from their field and then reappeared in a field away from the farm. The same family also had a faceless figure appear at the window.
So... their cows literally just walked to another field.
Nope, teleported. Too quick.
Did they see them vanish and appear?
They went to check on them. They were there. They went back in. They got a call saying they were in another field. They came back out. They were gone.
That quick?
That quick.
So we have evidence that it's that quick.
Of course I bloody don't.
Then they walked.
If I had evidence, I'd have shoved that up your ass.
They walked. So it was actually investigated.
Yeah, genuinely was, yeah. That I have seen evidence of.
Pretty cool. I take it you're going to get onto their findings a little later. Cool. I won't probe that any further. How many cows did they have?
A herd. That's all I know. So probably between 10 and 30.
We need to constitute what a herd is.
To be honest, I tried to find out more details to make a whole episode out of the cows, but there just wasn't any concrete facts there. Lots of stories of the same thing, but no firm details.
Okay. So the faceless figure has appeared again.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just someone in a mask?
Clearly it's aliens.
Well, clearly it's someone in a mask. Going around opening cows' herd gates so they can just wander off. The local prankster.
Do you want to move on?
It's like Spring Hill Jack about the springs. It's just faceless Jack.
So Neil Spring's book, The Watchers, was inspired by the events. Did I say aspired or inspired? I meant inspired. Neil went in a skeptic and came out a believer despite writing fiction. Spring's book led to the formal investigation coming to light. It turns out that the head of the MOD's S4 division contacted the RAF's Internal Police Force or Security Service, explaining that he was consulting them discreetly as he was absolutely at a loss to explain the number of sightings from level-headed witnesses. These testimonies were said to rock the foundations of the British government. Nick Pope, top British bloke, former government UFO investigator,
Nick Pope,
and
top British bloke,
and whom ignores us on Twitter, has confirmed that the events were probed despite the media, the public, and Parliament itself all being told that the matters were of no concern to the MOD.
Cover up.
Suspicious, right? So what do you think has gone on? Any alternative theories? You've already mentioned one, to be fair.
As for everything on ground level, could just be put down to pranksters. Above that, I've got nothing.
So I did a little further. I did a little further probing, trying to science this case away, and I found that there is a military base near Broadhaven. Remember, this is quite a small place, a fairly good place to set up a military base and test things. Test them with people seeing them even, without there being enough witnesses for things to get out of hand. And again, remember this is the 70s. So remember this is before mobile phones were around, so not many people had a camera in their pocket. Meanwhile, in the articles in several newspapers I probed, a couple mentioned that a US Navy operative came forward to say that the figures seen were actually US military wearing standard fireproof clothing, and that the unidentified aerial phenomena were actually just Harrier jets. Military search and rescue missions are completed by those in silver suits. I'm just going to show you a Harrier jet beside one of the drawings of a cigar-shaped UFO to see if we think this is a feasible explanation. if you'd like to explain the similarities or differences for everyone listening in what you will see here.
They don't look jack alike. One is a Harrier jet, as you would expect a Harrier jet to look like, and the other is a disc-shaped UFO.
Well, would you say that's disc? It's got obviously the disc element on the top of the bubble almost. But if you're seeing that from our angle head on.
But if you were, even as a child, if you were to see a Harrier jet and got told to draw what you'd seen, your pictures would look like a Harrier jet.
Yeah.
Unless the children saw a Harrier jet and were told to draw the UFO that they saw, so a kid would draw a UFO rather than drawing the jet they saw.
Right. I know I've mentioned this a lot, but let me just point out the Tic Tac UFO that we covered previously, episode 5, in comparison to that child's drawing there.
Very similar without the... Although that is just a blur.
No. It does have the bulb in the middle. If you look closely...
That's at the top. I was going to say it looks
it's inverted.
More like a fin in the bottom.
Inverted. You just turned your head upside down to look at it.
Okay, that changes things.
So yes, I think these Tic Tacs, depending on the angle you look at them, can either look like flying saucers,
scout ships,
or if you catch them at the right angle, they actually look cigar-like, with just a little bobble in the middle. The further away you are, the harder it is to see that little bobble in the middle.
Oh, that's a good point. Scout ships.
But yeah, if that thing went inverted, as Granville said it did, it would be almost identical to the Tic Tac.
Intriguing it is.
Believe it, I do. Not a single person involved has come forward in the 40 plus years since this all happened to say that the UFO sightings were a hoax. Not one of the school children or teachers. A final alternative theory does partially exist though. A businessman named Glyn Edwards came forward in 1996 to state that he had donned a silver outfit and wandered around the area as a prank. But that doesn't explain the faceless figures or the UFO. Any thoughts or further theories outside the one you already pulled out? That might have been semi-bang on.
I'm sticking to it.
So, to summarise, we have the wedged village of Broadhaven, known as the Broadhaven Triangle. On the 4th of February 1977, a yellowish cigar-shaped craft landed in a field next to the primary school, and 14 school children all drew the same craft in isolation. 13 days later, a teacher and 3 dinner ladies saw the same craft and silvery alien figures. Then 2 days after that, Granville saw the same craft next to her hotel alongside 2 faceless silvery figures and filled her pants. Granville pussy. We also had disappearing cows, sightings of UFO and silver men without faces all over the village. The MOD denied any interest but did actually investigate. People have tried to explain it as a military craft and personnel, and one hoaxer, but the case does remain unsolved. Final thoughts, Mr. Moonwalker?
The hallucinogens in the water.
Someone drugged the town.
Like you said, with the military base being quite near, it's quite easy to go and test. Like, because you're not... If you test it and it works, you're not going to turn around and say, we tested this, it worked. You're not going to tell the public that you have that. So I still going with the hoax.
Okay. Are you saying it was aliens?
I'm saying it's a mix of the hoax and testing of military equipment. The reason no one's come forward to say it's a hoax is, I reckon, because it's got so big, if that one person that let all the cows out now came out and said it was a hoax, they would get mobbed, and the military aren't going to come out and... It's not a hoax if they are actually coming out and testing this stuff. And they're not going to come out and tell people they are testing equipment like that.
Yeah. So you're saying that it was aliens, yeah?
I'm saying that the aliens people saw were not aliens, but they believed they were.
Well, that's not.
I'm not saying it's aliens.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you the name of our podcast either.
I don't try that shit. I'm straight down the middle, me. I only talk about honest, good people. But yeah, I'm not saying it was aliens. This story was a can of worms. What stuck with me, though, was that Harrier jets do actually take off vertically. So they don't need a runway, do they? They just go up and then they bomb from there.
That's when
They rise with their jets off the floor, yeah. So, what if the children did see something?
That would have been
But,
strange technology to them then.
yeah. So what if the children did see something, but it was an experimental variation of that technology? I don't buy that the hoaxer would have fooled so many people, and it does intrigue me that these crafts sound so similar to Tic Tac crafts, what have been confirmed by the Pentagon to exist and not be of military origin since we first covered them back in episode 5. UFOs Confirmed, I believe was the title.
USS.
So yeah, bloody intriguing case this one. It's also one of the most famous British UFO cases out there, apparently, but I'd never even heard of it, despite all of our probes thus far. Again, I'm not saying that it was aliens, but I do wonder whether this wasn't just experimental human technology, but could it be linked to crafts that have been recovered and that's where the technology came from?
Experimental alien technology.
But again, this specific case, I don't think it was aliens. I think there's a lot of mistaken sightings, along with some potential military sightings and, like I say, military personnel wandering around.
I just think the faceless guy being seen is a hoaxer, and the cows.
I mean,
But
if Granville had been a bit more trustworthy, then it might have swayed me. But she obviously just filled her pants.
she loved having her pants filled.
Any final thoughts?
Nah, good job. It's
Right.
not aliens.
Alright, that's it for this week's episode of But It Was Aliens. Thank you for listening now and in the future. If you enjoyed our probes and want to probe us or maybe even suggest a probe, you can join our Facebook group, Extraterrestrial Towers. We are on the Twitter at But It Was Aliens. Thank you again for listening. You can catch a new episode from us each and every Thursday. Have you seen a UFO? Ever thought you may have had a metallic instrument shoved up your butthole? If in doubt, the truth is up there. All you've got to do is #probe.
Up your butthole or up in space?
Probe.
Hashtag probe.